Hello, welcome to October 12th, 2024. Let me make sure I close the gate. Little Rudy can't get out. Now that he's alone without the black dog, I worry about his vulnerability in this desert when I'm walking out on the trails. Here's my little boy. Okay, I'll pop over back in just a bit. All right, this is my good life meditation, a daily exercise that I use to remember my life objectives and principles. Those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I faced. I recite the objectives of my creed, and then I prepare for the coming day, and then I check to see if I'm death ready. Have I got my affairs in order, so to speak, both familial, circumstantial, and artistic. Let's get into it. Last night was a strange night. Maybe I'm going a little crazy, but last week there have been a couple of noteworthy things that have happened in the night. It was about a week ago I was hearing chains in the dark sitting at the campfire. I have the campfire maybe every other night, and I'll just sit out there in the dark, and I could hear chains. A strange thing to hear. A couple nights back I heard something grunting. Then the night before last, I heard something strange as well. Now, I don't believe in monsters or ghosts or anything like that. At least I have no real, tangible, good evidence that such things exist. But I do believe that the world is a wide and vastly, mostly uncomprehended place. So there's room for lots of things. But last night was really interesting. I was awakened suddenly in the night. I sleep close to the door. I've been trying to sleep in the hammock outside, but I still haven't gotten comfortable on that. So sometimes I'll start in the hammock and then move indoors. But last night I went to bed on the bed with the door open because Rudy sleeps outside. He's very secure because I actually lock his cage and cover it with blankets so that he's not cold and that he's safe. And in the middle of the night, I heard Rudy growl. And I got up because I'm worried about things that might get him, or just curious too about what's out there. And then within like 3 steps, I was at the door, standing outside, and something had passed in front of the house and was in the bushes just over there. Not over there, but over there. Making big cracking sounds. Something was moving through the brush. Rudy was dead silent, not making a sound. And I just sat there for the longest time. And then eventually the dogs at the next ranch over, got wind of it. And they began barking, but they wouldn't come down to there's a little valley. That's the next ranch. You can see the house over there, right? They were up there. But the dogs wouldn't, they can come down this hill. They didn't come down the hill. They knew something was down there in the orchard. It had passed, whatever it was, it passed from the brush into the orchard. There's an apple orchard. It's all overgrown. Nobody ever takes care of it. It's the next ranch over. But that was interesting that the dogs didn't come down. They were barking at something, but they didn't come down to engage with it. That kind of gave me shivers. What was that thing? Because I think I've told you before, there's been mountain lions sighted in the area. I saw a bobcat last week, big one. Anyway, here's the one that really got me. And maybe just my mind was set and ready for these types of things. I went back to bed, and maybe 2 hours later, I didn't know the time, but it felt like 2 or 3 a.m. I heard my name called, Kurt. And I came up, on my shoulder, and I responded, yes. I was dead certain someone called to me from outside. I'm just going to leave it at that. I didn't even go outside. Rudy was safe. He's locked in. He's covered up. I just laid back down and went back to sleep. But anyway, I wouldn't call that a bad night. I would call that a very interesting night. Of all things. So that was interesting. Yesterday was a great day. It was a day of work. I had very little to do, but I did the few things I needed to do. I'm putting together some meetings for a big project for the vendor to do a demo and a few other things, and I coordinated all of that, send up. It's so funny how I just don't care. It's not that I don't care. I'm streamlined. Like I was setting up a meeting that would involve executive level attendees, et cetera, et cetera. And I just found the best time. And since the executives were set as optional attendees, I didn't bother to work with their, uh, well, because the vendor gave me some dates, candidate dates from them. And then if I reach out to the executives' assistants, their secretaries, so to speak, and try to coordinate a time, it's a real challenge because they never aligns with the vendor, and then I have to get back to the vendor and adjust times. Now, if the executives had been mandatory attendees, then I would have done all of that, but they were optional attendees. So I just got the 5 different time slots from the vendor, and I just grabbed everybody and I went through the calendar. I looked for the slot, the 1 hour slot that had the fewest number of people overlap. I said, that's the one. And I just forwarded the invites to everybody. Here you go. So I'm doing everything these days. It's not poor quality. It's just efficient. It's efficient quality with because you always put, in the past, when I was worried about my career, I would always go the extra mile to make sure that I didn't miss a step and make anybody upset. Now, as long as I'm falling within the bounds of propriety and established norms, I just leave it at that. I wish I could have, no, I do not wish that I had operated like this before, because it was operating like the way I used to operate, which is type A, anal to the max, making sure everything was just perfect, was the thing that preserved my job in the first couple of years when I first got here, and I clearly didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was the fact that people saw that I strove after excellence and was trying to learn, that they gave me a chance. They should have fired me in that first year. They gave me a chance because they saw that was the type of person that I am. So I would not wish my current behavior upon my past self. I may not have had a job as long as I have, if that had been the case. So, but I've changed now that I'm 40 days now left. So there was that and this and that and the other thing, and I did a couple of email, and mostly I daydreamed. I even had a talk with my boss. I shouldn't go there, but he was like, just don't worry about it. What would he? Now I won't go into any of those details. He's a good boss. He's very practical. His comment, just nutshell it. His comment, which I truly agree with, was we need, and it's hard to say this without sounding like I'm more important than I am, but he says, we let's not say it that way. Let's say it as an institution. He said, and he did say it this way too. As an institution, we need to improve our ability to offboard to get by after people leave, is what he said, basically. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, that was yesterday. Wasn't there something else? Okay, the creed, my 8 objectives from my book, Going Alone. You can find it anywhere, including if you watch this on YouTube or on Twitter. There's a link somewhere around here, probably down below. Get the PDF for $3, or you can buy the hard copy on Amazon. I recommend best. Okay, the creed consists of 8 objectives. Number 1 is to be always ready to die, to have my affairs in order, my relationship sound, my relationship sound, and my life's work complete. 2 is to make good and effective use of time, to not waste my days. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, whatever creed we can come up with that operates well and keeps us in alignment with our values and executing upon those values. 4 is to facilitate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions. 6, to recognize our true limits and true opportunities so that we don't reach for things beyond us. You can work towards things beyond us, but we have to recognize where our current reach runs short. Next is to do just one thing at a time and do things slowly and deliberately and carefully. And then lastly, to keep my balance here and here. As for today, it's a Saturday. Everything's done. House is cleaned. Shopping is done. I just have to do a couple of my new softypapa activities and chores that I'm doing each day, that I'm getting ready for my retired life. The activities that I'll be engaging with as softypapa full time in terms of creating content, curating content, responding to comments, etc., and striving towards the ends as described in Going Alone, and particularly the Good Life Creed. I will take a short break. Now that Rudy's all alone, the dog, the other dog's gone. I try not to let him ever be separated, except for when I do these walks. But I need to go down to the Japanese consulate after Yumiko sends me my certificate of eligibility from Japan to deliver the paperwork, and I won't be able to take Rudy upstairs, and I can't leave him down in the parking lot. It's right downtown in a big skyscraper, so I'm going to have to leave him here. So to train him for that, I gave him a little bit of this morning of trazodone, which is a sedative that I have. It's actually prescribed for him for anxiety. And I haven't been using it for the longest time, though, because I'm finding other ways to deal with his anxiety rather than drugging him, namely engagement and companionship and one-on-one attention, the stuff that I couldn't do so well when I was fully engaged in my career and parenthood. And now that those things are waning, or gone, I can attend more closely to my boy. I'm sorry that I didn't do that sooner for you, Rudy. I didn't need to give you those drugs all that time if I had taken more care. Anyway, I'm giving him a dose today because I'm going to make a trip down to the valley just to pick up a load of firewood. It won't take me more than half an hour, 45 minutes. Then I'll come back. And then tomorrow I'll do the same thing, give him another dose of trazodone to calm him down. I'll leave him alone and locked inside. I won't leave the door open because he's no match for the animals out here in case they do come. And then I'll go a little further tomorrow, Sunday, I'll go get a haircut in Temecula. That'll take me 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours maybe. And then you see what I'm doing. I'm weaning him off so that when I have to take the full half day, 3/4 day to go to Los Angeles to drop the paperwork off, he'll be worked up to it. That's what I'm doing today. And then we'll go to Julian in the evening as we usually do. Might stop off at the cidery, or maybe from the Julian beer place and get some beer. Yeah, I might do that. I'm not really eating out or anything. You know, that's one thing about this, country life. There's nothing to spend money on, which is good because I'm gonna be on a very fixed budget very soon. For the first because Yumiko and I are going to be living off of my pension and our savings until age 62, which will be a year and a half away after I get there. And then Social Security kicks in for me at that age, and then we'll be fine. And then we're going to wait until 65 or maybe 67 for Yumiko's American Social Security to kick in, so that can mature. Because we'll be able to get by just fine on my pension and Social Security, and then we'll be in great shape once that's the case. But we need to switch, because right now I make a good living and I'm able to support all the expenses. But we've been able to wean off all of the expenses, namely with our daughter. And Emily, if you see this, I'm in no way blaming you. It is our responsibility to see you through to the other side. But we got you through to your university. We covered all of that. Got you started on your life. Gave you a nice little nest egg to get you going. And you're off and running. We're very proud of you. Good job. But now I don't spend money on anything except my trips once a week to go to get the groceries, which I did that yesterday. It was $103 for a week's worth of groceries for me, for my frugal life out here. Plus a couple tanks of gas, maybe 1 tank of gas a week, another $30, $40 there. My budget is $200 a month, basically, to live on. $200 a week to live on. That includes food and gas. And the rent that I pay for this place is separate. So I'm always way under budget for that. Yumiko's doing great over there. I sent her money and she's doing great, which is good because we're getting ready, because as soon as January starts, paychecks stop coming in. The pension checks will come in once a month, and that'll be a lot less. But we have our savings, and all we have to do is get it. All we have to do is get to summertime 2026, and we'll be in really good shape then. So this simple, humble life is a good one, and it's good practice for the simple, humble life to come. All right, am I ready to die? Are my affairs in order? Yes. Are my relationships sound? Yes. Is my life's work complete? Absolutely. I can die now easily.